Good evening. Today is the 24th day of the Omer, and we are going to learn the 24th step of acquiring Torah. Today's step is Hamikir et Mekomo. Hamakir et Mekomo. Person needs to know their place. Now there's many different facets and concepts for this exact one. So let's go through a couple of them. Firstly, a person has to know themselves. What it means to know your place, it means to know where you are. When a person approaches learning Torah, it seems, and it can very well be, honestly speaking, overwhelming. There's a lot to know, a lot to learn from, a lot to teach. There's so much, it's overwhelming. A person has to know where they are and what is their goal in their learning Torah. Maybe they need to learn Aleph Bet, and that's Limud Torah for them, because that's a way for them to enable them to start going further. The next would be learning Chumash, so the basic. Then Mishnayot, Gemara, Halacha. Leave the Zohar and the Kabbalah for later. Sometimes there's the Yetzirah to go further than your place, to know more than where you really are holding, as we say. A person wants to gain the most amount of Torah, gain it in the strongest, the greatest capacity possible. Know your place. Know your place. It's also part of know your goal, where you want to get to. But know your place right now. This is one aspect. Now, another concept as follows. We know when it comes to prayer, we should have the same place to pray. The reason for this, it's makom kavua. We learn this from, Gemara learns it from many different great individuals. Specifically, Abraham Avinu, Pinchas, Eliyahu. So to us, when we come to pray, we should find our specific place to pray. The main reason for this is so that we have a concentration while we are praying. The same thing is when it comes to learning Torah. You should try to have the same place every day. It doesn't necessarily need to mean that it's the same place where you pray, although there's an aspect the Talmud speaks about that. But having the same place in the class, same place when you learn with your friend, learn with your son, learn with your student, learn with your rabbi. Try to sit in the same place. That concept of hamakir et mekomo, you know where your place is, also promotes concentration and alleviates for any other types of distractions. And that is another very, very important role in acquiring and wanting to get deeper into understanding one's Torah. Knowing a person's place is also from the teacher-student or father-son relationship as well. In everything in life, there are certain places. There's a certain hierarchy, there's a certain level, chain, food chain if you like to call it, of honor, respect, student, senior student, teacher, senior teacher. That is also very important for a person to know. That when they ask a question, when they answer a question, when they come to a class, when they give a class, that a person has to know their place. There are sometimes times where the question you want to be asked should not be asked. And there are other times where it should be. There are times where the class you prepared should not be given. And there are other times where the class you prepared to give, or the Dvar Torah, or the Hidush that you have, should be given. That is a very strong and important concept. It's a fundamental from our steps of learning greater and getting to a greater acquiring of Torah. It makes by no chance that it's right at the middle. 24 is exactly half of 48. Knowing a person's place, whether who they are today, whether who they will become, whether they're amongst other great people or they're the greatest in the room. Know your place and act with the proper honor, respect, and responsibility it comes with. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless us to know our places, fulfill our places, and grow in those heights. B'ezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.